Let's just talk about the elephant in the room before we get anywhere. Can we agree on a couple of things? First thing is when a athletic director, AD, brings in a new coach into the system to a new school, any school, not just Kentucky, but any school, doesn't that AD bring that new coach to the university for one reason and one reason only? We need to win, and we need to win now. Now, there's a few programs across the country that you can say, I need you to come in and I need you to rebuild it. Kentucky's not one of them teams. They're not one of those universities that says, we need you to come in and I give you 4 or 5 years to put us on the up and up. Kentucky's not one of those schools. Can we agree on it? Okay, I feel like we can agree on that. The big thing that's going on right now is with Cassidy Rowe. I don't know. One side is Coach Brooks says she's not good enough. He doesn't have a spot for her on next year's team. Another group of people are saying, well, it was because of the school that she's majoring in. They said that she can't play any sports. I don't know which one. I did see some type of NIL sponsor that's sponsoring her and talking about that actually mentioned that Coach Brooks said that there wasn't going to be a scholarship for her next year. And that's a touchy subject because we know how much Kentucky fans love kids that are from Kentucky. We know that. It's been established. We understand it. It ain't no secret. If you're a Kentucky kid, you get mass love from Kentucky fans. They love it when their own is on the floor. But here's the question. If you bringing in a coach to build his system to win national championships, to compete every year within the SEC, don't you give him the lead way to do what he needs to do? Because if he's not winning, he's gone. Like he's gone. He don't get a second chance. You see what I'm saying? With that being said, thumbs up. With that being said, if it is true that Coach Brooks asked Cassidy Rowe to leave the program because he will not have a scholarship for her next year, can we really be mad at him for that? Because see, here's the thing: as a fan, if he's not winning, you're calling for his coaching job. Get him out of here. He's not winning. So shouldn't you allow him to build a program or a team that he feels like that he has a legitimate chance to win? Look, if you ask me, I think we ran out of gas when we got beat in March Madness, the women's team. Because we didn't have a bench. Everybody else had a deep bench. We don't have a deep bench. If that's the case, he has to go build his team in a way that says, I'm competing in this hard, rigorous SEC that games that we have year in and year out. I done moved my family. I done moved everything. I done brought my dogs. I'm in Kentucky. I'm here to win ball games. I have to assemble a team that I feel like can go out here on the floor and compete night in and night out. Let me say this about Cassidy Rowe. I only had a chance to see her play one time in her career at Kentucky, and that's when they went to Vanderbilt. And I was so thrilled to watch her play. Man, when she hustles her butt off, she really does. By my standards, keep her on the team. By Coach Brooks' standards, I need taller. You know what I'm saying? I need longer. I need a bench. Like I need a strong bench. Oh no. This is a very touchy subject. My next thing is, even though she bleeds blue, how many other Kentucky kids out there that don't get to go to Kentucky bleed blue, but they still go somewhere and still have a great career? Is this the end of the road for her? Now, if it comes down to she is taking classes or she is majoring in something now that she's not able to take sports, cool. Everything is good. That's the major she wants. She probably says, I'm not going to the WNBA. I'm thinking about my career now. That could be the case. If she was asked to leave, once again, we got to think about this. Coach Brooks was brought here to win ball games, not lose, but isn't his job to get people here that can win ball games? Isn't he here to make sure that he has an efficient bench that can come in and relieve the starters? I think we ran out of energy. And I think that's partially why the reason we got put out in the game that we did. But don't you want a coach to bring a system in that works for him? I do. And that's what Coach Pope, that's what Kenny Brooks, that's what anybody else that's coaching. Bring a system in that works for you. And the question is, just because you grew up a Kentucky fan and now you play basketball, does that automatically mean that you should be at Kentucky playing basketball? Does that mean that you're good enough? There's some Kentucky kids out there who are good enough to play basketball for Kentucky. I'm not saying that it's not. But if Kenny Brooks doesn't have anybody in state that he feels like is good enough to play basketball at Kentucky up under his leadership, should we be mad? Because at the end of the day, do you want to see a player from Kentucky just on the team, or do you want to see Kentucky compete for banners? And if we being real, we love our Kentucky kids, but we want banners. That's what Kentucky does. Kentucky hangs banners. Otherwise, we ain't doing nothing. We're not like some teams who enjoy hanging Sweet 16 banners. I'm kidding about a Sweet 16 banner. Keep that. We hang national championships banner. We hang SEC championship banners. That's what we do at Kentucky. And if that's the case, then you gotta allow these coaches to go out here and recruit so they can build a team. And then once they build their team and then they fail, you can't say that you didn't give them a chance. You got to go. You tried your system. It didn't work here at Kentucky. Now you got to go. It's sad what happens to kids that may get pushed out of the way. It may be sad that you might have a good Kentucky kid that can play ball, but gets looked over because it's Kentucky. And the coaches just feel like they don't have what it takes to truly play here at Kentucky. There's a lot of situations right there. But I think at the end of the day, we have to be behind our coach. I don't care who the coach is. Mark Pope, Kenny Brooks, whoever. If they're doing what's in the best interest of the University of Kentucky and wanting to be a champion and wanting to build that culture, and if they gotta go out and build their team in the way that they see it for their vision, then we gotta get behind it. It ain't fair. It ain't. So the question, should a Kentucky kid just automatically just get a role on the team just because they understand what it means for Kentucky, what it means to wear a jersey of Kentucky across your chest? Does that really just give them a right to be on the team? I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. And if you guys know more about what's going on, and if I missed something, please, you guys know what happens here at the Loyal BBN Fan Show. So after you hit that like and the subscribe if you haven't, then go ahead and leave your comment on what you think about the situation going on with Cassidy Rowe. Do you agree or do you disagree with what happened, or what is unfolding with her situation? And if you have facts and if you know really what's going on, please share that so we all can know collectively. We would enjoy that. Next thing, Travis Perry. It's a lot of debates going on right now. It's a lot of debates. And remember, I'm just here just giving my thoughts. You guys have your thoughts. And I love hearing about what you guys think about the situation. So I asked, there's a group of people who thinks Travis Perry needs to move on, open up a scholarship spot at Kentucky. And then there's a lot that'll say, no, don't touch Perry, leave Perry alone, let Perry stay here for 4 years, and his junior and his senior year, you'll see him shine. You know, that's just one of those things. Does he belong at Kentucky right now? Is he good enough to truly play at Kentucky? Can Mark Pope go out and get someone that is better than Perry? Because the same thing, it's no different, as I just said, with Coach Brooks. Coach Pope wants to win a championship here at Kentucky. Do you think Perry has what it takes? See, the first year, most people is going to go ahead and call this a success. So we had to put together a makeshift team, got the scraps in the transfer portal. We all know how that all went down. Does Perry belong on the Wildcats? And see, here's the thing. If Perry's going to be on the Wildcat team, look, we're going to be guard heavy next year. Guard heavy. Where does Travis Perry fit in? So you got to ask yourself, if you sit here and you say that Travis Perry loves Kentucky basketball that much, is Travis Perry ready and able to sit on that bench with no playing time unless we up by 25 points at the end of the ball game? Because that is exactly what it could look like. We just had Kerr Krister to hit the transfer portal. I wonder why. And look, if we being honest, if they both stayed on the team, who's getting in the game first? Krister or Perry? Krister's getting in the game first, not Perry. So if Krister left because he seen the writing on the wall, what's that do for Perry? Where does that leave Perry at? Does that leave Perry way down the bench? Like you got to put your binoculars on to see him? Because he's not going to see the floor. Kentucky basketball, with John Calipari being gone, we still want some top transfer guys to come in here. Can you look in the camera? Can you type on the keyboard that you would rather have a top transfer come in here or you would rather keep Perry here? Some people's going to say, I would rather keep Perry here. And that's okay. This is all about what you think and how you feel it. But if we're being realistic here, if we really just saying to ourselves, let's look at the big picture here for a minute. Let's just look at what's going on. And let's say we want to win a national championship. We need to go further than the Sweet 16 next year. Next year, Coach Pope needs to find a way to get us in the Elite Eight, the Final Four. Can Perry get us there? Or do we need to or does Perry need to step down and bring in somebody else that can help us get there? Am I denying that Perry can go out there and shoot the ball? Absolutely. Perry can shoot the fire out of that ball. I'm not down there. And I'm not here advocating either way. I'm not here, if whatever Coach Pope does or whatever Coach Brooks does, I have to support that. I don't know basketball like these guys know. I'm not out there I'm not out there making the kind of money they are. I didn't have to move my family to Lexington and start all over because I want to take a job here at Kentucky. It goes a lot into this. People's jobs are on the line here. And we know the Big Blue Nation, we're only forgiving for so long. For so long. After that, what are you doing for us, Coach? What are you bringing to Kentucky? Well, you guys didn't want me to get rid of the Kentucky kids. You guys wanted me to keep them. So what do you want me to do? That's why we got to be flexible with the decisions that these coaches make. And we got to trust that they're not doing things in ill will, but they understand that this is my job and people are watching. And if I'm not producing, then I'm out of here and I'm starting all over again. And I would like to stay here and coach for a while if it's possible, but I have to build my team. I have to put my team on the floor. Give me that opportunity. That's what we have to look at. I mean, it's hard. I mean, if we're being real, this is a real tough elephant. And, I won't say that the fan base is completely divided on it, but there's enough people out there that is in favor of Travis staying. And then there's enough people out there that's saying, oh, you know what? Travis ain't going to help us win a national championships. Yeah, he can shoot the ball, but right now we need somebody that can come on the floor, and you got to be able to play defense in the SEC. If you're too slow for the guards, it shows. It's right there. It is what it is. Kentucky has a chance next year with so many people leaving, the Auburns, the Tennessees, the Ole Misses, look, Kentucky. I mean, even we got a lot of people leaving too. We're no exception to the rule. The SEC is going to be wide open next year. There is right now, and depends on how the recruiting goes and everything in the transfer portal and who lands who. The SEC next year is wide open. You better be prepared. You better bring in the right people so we can be competitive. We're not going to settle for losing 10, 11 SEC games in 1 year. That's not Kentucky basketball. But as long as I got the people that I need in order to win basketball games, then we only lose 3 or 4 games in the SEC. That's Kentucky basketball. Going undefeated in the SEC. That's Kentucky basketball. Coach Brooks is trying to raise his program to a high level. You got to let him do it his way. Put feelings to the side and think about the whole bigger picture of what's going on at Kentucky. That's just how I feel. But I love hearing you guys' thoughts on it. But either way, we got to trust that our coaches have the best interest of the University of Kentucky first, not the NBA, not the WNBA. They got Kentucky on their mind first, and then everything else branches off to make Kentucky a better team and to help the kids out too as well. Let's see how this all goes down, but we can't deny that this is a very touchy subject because people really feel like that if you live in Kentucky and if you can play basketball, then you should be at Kentucky. I don't know. Leave your thoughts down below. Do that after you hit the like button and do that after you hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys. This is the Lawyer BBN Fan Show.